I ranked every player in this finals by one number, then built each team's perfect starting five. The five guys who've actually graded out best across all three games. And both lineups have a shocking name missing. The Spurs' best five doesn't include the guy who just scored 23 in game 3. And the Knicks' best five, it doesn't include their captain, the leading scorer in the entire finals. Let me show you both lineups. The rule is simple. Take every player, grade their whole series on efficiency and impact, and start the five highest. No reputations, no contracts, no narratives, just the numbers. And when you do that honestly, the lineups that come out are not the ones either coach is actually rolling out. That's what makes this fun. This is Game is Culture. Real quick before we dig in, if you like breakdowns that actually show the math instead of just yelling takes at you, go hit subscribe. It's free and it genuinely helps, so click it. First, the Spurs' perfect five. Here are San Antonio's 5 best grades across the series. Devin Vassell, the efficiency king. Victor Wembanyama, the superstar. Julian Champagnie, the sharpshooter. Keldon Johnson off the bench, and the rookie Dylan Harper. That's your data-driven Spurs starting 5. Efficient role players around the big man. Exactly the formula that won them game 3. And look who just missed. Stephon Castle, the guy who exploded for 23 points in game 3, grades 6th on his own team for the series, just outside the 5. Why? Because in games 1 and 2, he was quiet, and his plus-minus was negative. One huge game doesn't erase 2 quiet ones. The numbers see the whole body of work, and across 3 games, Castle was the Spurs' 6th man. Now the Knicks' perfect 5, and the bombshell. Here are New York's 5 best grades. Karl Anthony Towns, the best player in the entire finals. Mikal Bridges, second best. Josh Hart, the do-everything glue guy. OG Anunoby, the elite scorer. And Miles McBride. That's the Knicks' optimal 5 by the numbers. And if you're paying attention, you've already noticed who isn't on it. Jalen Brunson, the captain, the face of the franchise, the leading scorer in the entire NBA Finals at 27 a game. And by this metric, he doesn't crack his own team's best 5. A reserve guard, Miles McBride, grades higher. Because Brunson's been inefficient and his plus-minus is negative, while the guys around him have quietly been more valuable. The data just benched the captain. Here's the exact comparison that bumped Brunson. Miles McBride, a deep bench guard, barely scores, but the Knicks are a plus 12 in his minutes and he doesn't hurt them. Brunson, 27 a night, but 46% true shooting and a minus 13. So a guy taking 5 shots a game out graded the franchise player. That is plus minus and efficiency being merciless to volume. Quick interruption because now's the time. If you're enjoying this, hit subscribe. I'm not going to beg, but I am going to ask, so hit it and I'll keep going. Now combine both rosters into one super team. If you built one starting 5 from every player in this finals, by grade, here's who you'd start. Towns, Bridges, Vassell, Wembanyama, and Hart. 4 of the 5 are Knicks, so New York has the better individual players by this metric, 4 of the top 5, and is still only up 2 games to 1. That tells you San Antonio is winning with depth and balance, not top-end talent. That's a fascinating split. The Knicks own the top of the leaderboard, but their stars and their role players are weirdly mismatched in who plays and who produces. The Spurs don't have as many elite individual grades, but they have 4 guys in the top 10 and almost nobody who actively hurts them. Concentrated talent versus balanced depth. So far, depth just won game 3. Now the big necessary caveat. Do not actually bench Jalen Brunson. Plus minus over 3 games is noisy, and a low minute guy like McBride can post a nice number just by playing in the right lineups. Brunson also bends defenses and creates the gravity that gets Towns and the shooters open. So these perfect 5s are a measure of who's graded best, not a literal lineup card. Take them as a provocative lens, not a coaching order. But the signal underneath is real. And it's the same on both teams. The loudest scorers, Brunson and even the Game 3 hero Castle, graded outside their team's best 5. Because volume scoring on shaky efficiency isn't as valuable as it looks. When your stars keep getting cut by an efficiency and impact metric, that's not noise. That's a usage problem worth listening to. And it circles back to one number that explains this whole finals. The Knicks have the 2 highest graded players in the series, Towns and Bridges, plus 4 of the best 5. On paper, they should be running away with it. Instead, they're up just 2-1 because the production and the playing time aren't going to the same guys. Fix that, and these perfect fives stop being hypothetical. So there they are, the Spurs' perfect five, built around Wembanyama and a swarm of efficient role players, with the Game 3 hero on the bench, and the Knicks' perfect five, led by the best player in the finals, with their captain and leading scorer left off entirely. The numbers don't care who's famous, they only care who's playing the best basketball. And the exclusions say something real about both stars. Castle's huge Game 3 was a breakout, but one explosion can't outweigh 2 quiet games in a 3-game sample. And Brunson's volume scoring, on poor efficiency with negative impact, is exactly the profile this metric distrusts. So when the math leaves your 2 biggest names off the optimal lineup, it isn't random. It's a verdict on how they've actually played. It also spotlights what the role players have done. Vassell, Champagnie, and Keldon for the Spurs. Bridges, Hart, even McBride for the Knicks. These are the guys quietly grading like starters, while the stars soak up the attention. In a tight series, those efficient, low-mistake role players are often the actual difference, and the grade sheet puts them exactly where they belong. Now think about how a coach would really use this. Not to bench Brunson, obviously, but to ask why a reserve is outgrading him, and whether the offense is leaning on him too much. The perfect five isn't a literal lineup card, it's a diagnostic. It points a flashlight at exactly where a team's production and its playing time have drifted apart. And that drift is the whole story of this finals. The Knicks have more elite individual grades, 4 of the best 5 players. The Spurs have fewer stars, but no passengers. Everyone grades out useful. So one team is top-heavy and the other is balanced. And through 3 games, the balanced team is the one trending up. Depth, again, beating star power. And maybe the biggest compliment goes to the guys nobody drafts into the conversation. A reserve like Miles McBride, or a low-usage wing like Vassell. Grading into a perfect 5 means they did the simple things right. Made their shots, didn't turn it over, helped their team win minutes. That's the unglamorous work that decides finals, and the grade sheet finally gives those guys credit the box score never will. So that's each team's perfect 5, by the math. Castle cut from the Spurs, Brunson cut from the Knicks, and 4 New York players in the overall top 5. Do you trust a starting 5 built purely on efficiency and impact, or would you put the stars back in? Tell me down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe. We're in a race to 1,000 subscribers, so please join the family.